that's where we have to be honest as media consumers. Like, if you're not holding them accountable yourself with your money, that's the only thing that holds them accountable.
Man. Hello and welcome to the Ross Cloud Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Ross, and this platform was created to motivate and to inspire in hopes that you will become a better you. I'd like to give a shout out to everybody that's listening all over the world. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Ross Cloud Podcast. Listen, we have a very, very special guest with us. He's no stranger to the Ross Cloud Podcast. He's a friend of the Ross Cloud Podcast, and his game is politics, and this is Politics as Usual with Jeff Henighan. I think I just gave you a name.
I'll take that one.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Politics as Usual, right? With Jeff Henighan. Jay Hen, what's happening, bro?
Feeling good, bro. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I'm glad you reached out, bro, because now we can have this conversation on politics.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and the climate has been kind of weird ever since the elections are over with. Mm-hmm. It's been kind of weird. It's actually been kind of deadly silent, actually.
Right.
You notice that too?
Right, yeah.
It's been kind of silent, like scary silent. I haven't heard too much from either side either, other than appointing people to different jobs.
And feedback on that.
And stuff like that. So, but it's been kind of very, very quiet to the point where it was a whole lot of noise.
Yeah.
Then it's quiet. And then you'll hear some things happening over in Russia.
Yeah.
You know, with that situation. So you still, all right. Yeah. So listen, we're not here to talk about that.
No, that's cool. I mean, that's all good. That's all good info.
Yeah.
Because that's how I was feeling last time we talked.
Yeah.
It was too soon, I guess, too new.
Yeah.
For me, I wasn't expecting the election to go that way.
I wasn't
in
either.
general.
I wasn't either.
I mean, raised where I'm raised, and you know that things are fair and all that kind of stuff. Like I couldn't fathom a convicted felon who admits he did the job. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was saying he didn't do it. He was saying you can't prosecute before. Like, right. So you do that. The Nazis is like, yeah, that's my dude. Like all the stuff.
Yeah, man.
I could not believe enough of America would do that for him to win a popular vote. I thought he might win the electoral because, you know, it's built for that. It is built on white supremacy for the most part.
Yeah.
So that threw me. As they count the rest of the numbers and the numbers get closer to where he didn't really win the popular vote by that much. Now it's getting more to where I thought it would be. It just took a little longer to count. So I felt a little more even.
Sure.
I was surprised at the quiet because the whole time, you know, you calling names and you selling all that stuff and the whole Republican Party's ticket was just loud. Yeah. And then you win, it's like
very quiet now.
Not even an I told you so. Nothing. They just got quiet. And so then you saw the appointments.
Yes.
So all your Project 2025 architects and writers got jobs.
Absolutely.
After he just said for 6 months, I don't know nothing about it. I ain't seen it. I don't read.
Scary, right?
He might as well have done this. I mean, like, oh, what you talking about? So immediately, that's what you're pointing.
Sure.
I think the other big thing that struck me was the whole DEI conversation and how they tried to coin that phrase differently, kind of like how they stole woke.
Yes.
You're going to steal DEI and make that about not being qualified. And we know DEI is so that people who are qualified get a chance because you were shutting them out even though they were qualified.
Yes. Teachers and parents, are you ready to empower your students to become stronger writers? Check out Rethinking Writing One Word at a Time by Sheila Beverly, a workbook that's been praised by educators for its innovative approach to teaching grammar and writing. Dr. Daryl Morris calls it a motivational hook that helps students get their ideas down on paper, and other teachers rave about its hands-on tools like the Grammar Bubble Manipulative Toy to make learning fun. Perfect for classrooms or home learning. Get your copy now on Amazon and watch your students' writing skills shine.
Doesn't mean you're putting people in who aren't qualified. At least not when we're concerned.
Yeah, that's true too.
Not where black folks are concerned.
Yeah.
So then you sold me on how DEI is bad for everything, but then you do the exact same thing because everybody you appoint is not qualified.
Crazy, right?
They're people you know, they're people you like, they're people who do what you say, but they're not qualified. They haven't done any work in that field. So just that audacity to do that right after you just said, like, Kamala is not qualified.
In your face, too.
And her whole life is public service. Her whole life is law.
True.
Her whole life is governing.
Yeah.
She's not qualified. But you're going to put Tulsi Gabbard in charge of intelligence. And she's been claiming that, like, the intelligence community is like bankrupt for years. Like, you're putting the people
wild,
in to
man.
dismantle it.
Yes.
And we've seen it because this is how they do, like, black public schools. I don't know how much you know about Carver and Winston-Salem. I was gone, but from what I was told when I came back home,
Yes.
they did everything possible to close that school.
Oh, yeah. They did.
And they still hanging in there. But like
Hanging in
that's
there,
what they
man.
do. They appoint somebody who's not competent.
Yeah.
They take the funding.
Yes.
They push the good out and let the bad in. And they say, no, look at all that bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then they close it and then they claim they're helping out. So that's really what I see the setup for.
Yeah.
I think my biggest concern, and I think the reason why we saw the quiet that we saw, we saw that amount of quiet because I think black women started it with some of the posts and memes and stuff we saw. Where it's basically like, look, we tried.
Yeah.
Try to save democracy.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't want to be saved.
They didn't want to be safe.
Go ahead and learn the hard way.
That's it.
And I feel like I'm there.
Yeah.
Because everything hits us harder. Like there isn't a thing that happens in America negative that doesn't hit the black community hardest.
Oh, it hit us
or at
real
least
hard.
the poor black community, if not the entire black community. But we told y'all.
Yeah.
Like, we told you what tariffs mean.
Yeah.
We told you about healthcare. We told you about education. We told you about finance. We told you about all that stuff.
Sure.
Back through Obama. And every time we tell y'all something, you blame us.
Every time.
You know what? Go ahead.
Yeah. Do your thing.
You know, Florida's my first one. Because...
They wild down there,
right?
man.
And we talked about some of that and how,
Yeah.
especially Cubans, but there are people there who are not white who identify as white.
Absolutely.
They vote that way.
Yes.
Their interests go that way.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going to see if when they actually start trying to deport people, if they think you white then. Because that's when you're going to find out.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're going to be calling us, let's protest. You know, they
And we're going to be like,
they
nah.
took my cousin. Like,
Be
I'm
like,
sorry,
hey,
dog.
hey, man.
Hey,
We tried to tell you.
when they said stop and frisk and you said it's a good idea,
That's a problem, man.
there you go.
Yeah, because they had that law in New York, too, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah. And that's what he was promising to bring back. So between two of my biggest concerns, when everybody was saying, oh, they're not that far apart,
Yeah.
unqualified immunity for cops,
Scary.
like complete immunity,
Scary.
right? And, I mean, dude was talking about the purge. Like, give them a day, give them an hour to just go crazy and they'll fix everything. Like, there's never been a time
Yeah.
where cops have fixed anything. That's not their job, honestly.
No, it's not.
They don't fix anything.
Nah. Supposed to just govern crime.
Right.
Make sure nothing's going on crazy.
Exactly.
That's
Now,
basically
if you want those people to stay in their place, then yeah, they do that job.
Yeah, sure.
And if you got enough money and you can be over here and you send them over there, yeah, you can do that job.
Wow.
But that's not what police are there for. In this climate after George Floyd of that backlash, because it feels like every time progress is made, they get to trying to fix it so you can never do that again.
Yeah.
So Obama gets in, immediately you gerrymander in districts. Immediately you getting money in elections that shouldn't be there. Like you're doing all the things to make sure this don't ever happen again.
Bro. You know what's so crazy? You're right. We saw this happening. The
Yeah.
gerrymandering started happening when they started making those decisions quickly. We
Yeah.
saw it. We really saw it. We saw it happening right in front of our eyes in North Carolina. We
Yeah.
saw it, and we was
Yeah.
like, "Wait, hold on."
Yeah, we were the test ground for that.
Yeah,
And Florida's the test ground, and Texas is the test ground for other policy. But yeah,
Yeah.
we were test ground for gerrymandering.
yeah. It's not fair at all because that politician may not know anything about that district.
Yeah.
And of course, he's going to lose that vote,
Yeah.
which is what you said. Is really going to set up, you know, those to be appointed in those areas that doesn't have the black interest in mind at
Exactly.
all. So,
Well, and gerrymandering itself has existed before.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I don't want to make it sound like they just
yeah,
started that.
yeah.
But it was kind of a wink thing. Like if
Oh, they
you're
did
a
it
black
in your face
congressman,
this time, though.
well, like if you're a black congressman,
Yeah.
it might benefit you to gerrymander that district for him and this district for me. So that way
Understood.
we know we get a black person. in.
Understood.
We get a black voice. there.
Understood.
But then they basically started going farther with it.
Okay, understood.
So in the more recent times, they gerrymander it and then pass a law that you can't put it back.
Ah,
Or they'll, stack the courts in a different way so
Okay.
that you can't you can't go through the system anymore once they get their power.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, thank you for saying that, man, because I had just, if I'm being transparent, I just heard of gerrymandering like at the beginning of, like I told you before, I'm just now starting to really pay attention. And I heard him talking about it on, I think it was Fox 8. And he was talking about gerrymandering, and he was talking about this and that, and then I got like a glimpse of it. But then I had, I think she is the vice president of NAACP in Reidsville. I had Rochelle on, and then she went in more deep detail about gerrymandering and how it was really unfair. It's totally unfair, to your point in what you're saying. So you're absolutely right. So gerrymandering has been around forever and a day.
Yeah. I mean, and it's kind of the you wash my back, I wash yours.
Okay, gotcha.
That's how it used to be.
Okay, understood now.
Like if we're in Congress, state Congress, let's say, and I want to make sure I can get it reelected, you want to make sure you can get reelected. You might be Democrat, I might be Republican.
Yeah.
And so we agree, okay, we're gonna give you this neighborhood off of mine. I'm gonna take this one off of yours.
Understood.
So the numbers kind of balance out.
Understood.
But I guess maybe with desegregation or some other thing, like it just changed the dynamic how they do it. Because now you got districts like they used to look like an eye maybe instead of being like a box. Now you got horseshoes.
Yes, sir.
And you got lightning bolts.
Sir.
And you got all kinds of stuff.
It's crazy, right?
You chopping off this side of the street because that street got more of a certain thing. I'm like, come on, man. Like, especially for state offices.
Right.
And then now you got, but you see why. Because
absolutely,
after this last election, once again, every time we've gotten a Democratic governor in the last, since Obama, since 08, they've moved to limit the power of that office. So when McCrory was in, there were no moves to limit that. And now it's like, you want to limit every Democratic appointed official who won the election. They try to limit that vote and maybe put that in the hands of someone else who was either appointed or is Republican. And like, that's where it's just disingenuous to imply that you care about voting at all if the first thing you do after they voted for somebody is then try to change the laws against it.
Understood.
Because if the Senate did that right now, what people would be saying from the Republican side is, well, you can't do that. He was elected and he has a mandate. He has all this stuff. Well, why does this keep happening everywhere else?
Right.
It's the same people. Yeah.
Got you.
So like that's what I've been thinking lately, this last week or two.
Sure, man.
I feel bad for people who did the work, but then I just saw, literally before I came over here, I was looking at something else, and they were showing that some of Kamala Harris's main staff were on like talking about the election, first time since they lost.
Yeah.
And it was a white lady. I didn't know that.
Understood.
Because I've seen lots of black women, especially, involved in that campaign from my side.
Okay.
I didn't realize the head lady was white. So for me, one of the things I don't know that we can afford to do that anymore. I feel like some of the disconnect where they had to go reach black voters was because someone wasn't in that room making that statement from the jump.
Understood.
And I know they were outside that room doing that. The outreach was crazy. But in that room, I think some of the things that you would call a slip or maybe weren't as aggressive might have been presented differently. And that's the difference is Trump was trying to reach young white males. So he has, Joe Rogan and, and Elon Musk. Like, he don't care if they're racist, if they, been accused of assaulting teenagers. Like, I don't care. If people like them and they can help me, they're in this office.
Yes.
And I think sometimes the Democrats get a little too broad. We're trying to bring everybody in, and you're not just doing what you do.
No.
And you really just kind of got to be you at a certain point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true, man.
Have you seen, you remember Head of State with Chris Rock?
Yeah. I remember that. Hilarious.
I still call it the Obama story because it's very much like what happened to Obama.
Very similar.
Very similar.
Very similar.
From alderman to president.
Absolutely.
But like that's the message I got from that one that I like is you have to be you.
Yes.
And just let them not like you.
And he did.
If they don't like you, they don't like you.
That character, Chris Rock.
Exactly. Mays was... trying to be what everybody else
I'm
wants.
trying to tell you, then he changed.
You can't do nothing until you
Nah,
be
you got to be you.
Because some people gonna hate you anyway.
Oh, man.
And it's better they hate you for you.
Yes,
Because I can live with that.
absolutely. Than to hate you for somebody else.
Exactly.
Who is
But
that?
then you try to explain yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that wasn't me. I'm
Yeah.
trying. No, hate me for me.
Hate me for me. And everything will be all right.
Let me earn it.
Right.
Yeah. If you didn't like that, watch how I do this.
Watch this. Right. That's so true. Man, that's a great point. That's a great point. You're right. That was the Obama story.
Yeah.
Now, when I think about that movie, you're right.
Yeah.
Literally, that was the Obama story.
But I would have loved it if Obama had a Bernie Mac type dude with him
Oh, my God.
to go into the office and say,
What?
look, we got the House and the Senate
Yes, sir.
for 2 years.
Come on, man.
They're going to try to kick him out. Like,
Oh, yeah, for
why we
sure.
pretended that wasn't going to be the case?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, let's go in here and let's kick stuff over. Let's do. Like, if we gonna
Make
get
some
put out of
noise.
here in
Let's
4
make some
years,
noise,
let's
man.
get put out for
Yes.
doing everything.
Yes. And we're going to do everything.
Yeah, everything. Be mad.
agree. Yeah.
And for those Dems in districts who were coming up in 2 years, that's why they didn't. Because they were trying not to put them in a position where they had to defend themselves in certain tight
Understood.
districts.
Mhm.
But you see what happened.
Yeah.
The Tea Party pops up,
Yeah.
which, whether y'all want to admit it or not, was obviously racist too.
Oh, yeah.
It was, it's fiscal responsibility.
Nah.
Okay. We saw that when they got in office.
Right,
But
right.
they pop up and all the other stuff happens from there. And so it's really like, I try to equate it to like you go into a new classroom or
Yeah.
you school a new team
Yeah.
and you just trying to be nice and get along with everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
then somebody bullies you,
Yes.
but you're trying to be nice.
But you're
Where
trying to be
Where
nice.
you could have just rolled in there and just kicked shit over.
Yeah. And been done with it. Hell with it. Right?
And be the man. Like,
And
look,
be the man.
come shoot them arrows at me. I'm the man in here. And I wish, and my roommate at the time,
Yeah.
my roommate from college, we were talking about at the time. That's what we were talking about. It's like, that's
Sure.
the one regret. Like,
Yeah.
I totally get what he was trying to do, just like I totally get what Kamala was trying to do and bridge that gap and be everybody's everything.
Understood.
But you cannot do that.
Nah.
You can't please everybody.
It ain't gonna happen, man. As that would be great. That would be in a fantasy world,
Yeah.
but not realistic.
No, it's not. And who can you count on when you do that?
Oh, you can't. You got a bunch of yes men around you.
Yeah, if you're
You
trying
need
to-
somebody around you that's gonna buck up against the grain a little bit.
Yeah, and you need to know who's going to roll with you either way.
Either way.
Because some of them people are going to roll with you because that sounds good.
Yes.
I think I could, having undecided voters in this election
Yeah.
is the most asinine thing I've ever heard.
Absolutely.
Like, how did you go into this one and be undecided? You lying to yourself.
All day long, you are.
Because whatever it is you telling yourself is the differentiator is not. You was lying to yourself. Either you was ashamed to say like, I'm still pro-Trump. I don't care that he did all this stuff. Fine. Some people said that.
Yeah.
Some people,
I
I'm
would
not
rather
sure.
hear that actually.
Well, but then
You
you
know.
got to ask yourself, who are you? Because if you're
Yeah.
the type of person, I equate it to like a lot of these dads who do the whole, I see it on Facebook.
Yeah.
They'll post like, I got a daughter and I got a gun. If you can touch my daughter, I'm going to do blah, blah, blah.
All right, man. All right, relax, man.
Okay. I mean,
I
I
know
hear
you
you.
will,
Your
yeah.
daughter's important to you.
Sure.
But you do realize that he got 26 accusations for other people's daughters. Right?
Come on, man.
And that's just the ones who came out.
Come on.
You hanging with
Come on.
Epstein and them. Like,
Yeah, come on. We
And ju-
already know what it is.
and just your general disposition
sir.
and how you talk about women and your own daughter. Like,
Oh man, come on. We already know how you feel. We
so
don't have to say anything else.
so why you got to post about your daughter's high school boyfriend that you going to threaten because you got a daughter?
Too much.
This is the time you to have that conversation.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Like the whole pro-life thing and all, just all that stuff, man. It's just
Yeah.
the people who know how to market throw enough against the wall so that you can get distracted by whatever suits you. And therefore you don't have to talk about anything else. So that's kind of like the RFK thing we were talking about last time.
All right.
So for me, especially when we're having the last conversation, but even for now, some people just give me a vibe to start.
Yeah.
And I pay attention to what they're saying and not saying. Never really liked him. Didn't know what was up. Like, I never really liked him. And his family don't fool with him. So that's another big one. Like, as big as the
See, I
Kennedys
didn't even
are.
know that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know the distance between the
Oh,
family.
man. When he was going to run, his family came out to be anti him. Like, they made sure to say, we don't support him. Not only do we support them, like, we're for Kamala. We do not
We're
support
not to
him.
support him.
Exactly.
He's not a part of this tribe at all. I don't know who this guy is.
Exactly. Well, because in one of his interviews, he's talking about doing heroin in college. I was doing heroin, I did this, and I was doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff, and mind you, this is my own cross to bear.
Absolutely.
But just being me and knowing there are menial jobs that I can't get today with a college degree if I admitted to doing heroin.
Come on, man. Why would you do that?
Even 20 years ago, you're on TV running for public office and getting promoted for saying the same thing. That's my internal beef. And that ain't his fault.
No.
But I still have beef with that.
You know what, though? It solidifies also what you said a few minutes ago. He was himself. He told.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy, man.
Right. So, and
honestly, I don't think anybody black could have gotten away with that, though. I think you'd be deemed a villain if you said that, though.
They went to Obama's church.
I do, bro.
Where he had just attended part-time. And because that pastor had once said, I forgot, it was some civil rights era thing.
Yeah.
Was it Pastor Wright? I can't remember his name.
Okay.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
But basically, he said something in a sermon years before. Obama wasn't even there. And they tried to equate it to he's anti-American because that preacher said something.
Right.
Not to mention, they still would never acknowledge why some black people talk that way.
Chicago pastor, right?
Yeah. Reverend, I thought it was Reverend Wright.
I
feel
think
like
you're
it's
right. Is it
Jeremiah Wright?
Jeremiah Wright.
That's it, yeah.
Oh, yes, sir. He the truth.
Right.
It ain't a game.
And I don't remember what he said. But
I remember that incident, though.
Right.
You're right. Yep.
And then
Yep.
Michelle and Barack did the fist bump. And it was just, some people would look at that and say, that's a couple who really likes each other. Look at the way they look and make eye
that's the way
contact.
I look at it. That's the way I looked at it.
That's not what Fox News was saying. Oh, it's a terrorist fist bump. Because sometimes a terrorist do a jab. Everything you do.
My God.
You don't remember the terrorist fist jab?
Oh, my God, man.
So
Too much, man.
Okay, so the last two things I've been watching podcast-wise.
Yeah.
The Rise of Fox News.
Gotcha.
Is a Slate Media production, which I love them. They do very good research.
Sure.
And I watched Empire City. Listen to Empire City.
Okay.
It's about how the New York police force started. Literally from back in like 1800s,
Sure.
after Revolutionary War and all that stuff,
Yeah.
all the way up to now,
Yeah.
and militarization, their tactics, a lot of that stuff. So both are really good. But in both cases, they just dig into kind of how we got here. And the Fox
Understood.
News one especially, it was just like I knew it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I got a journalism school in 2001.
Got you. Yes.
I wasn't in I didn't work in journalism then, but
Okay.
I was just in that, you're in that
Understood.
circle.
Yes.
And it all just seemed fishy.
Right.
From 9/11 to, Iraq to like just all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
I knew that was bullshit.
Yeah.
I knew there were no weapons of mass destruction just by the way we were talking about it. Like the mission accomplished, I was at a radio station working then.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing on TV, like, didn't we just go yesterday? Like, it's over. And then 2 weeks later, we're still fighting.
Yeah.
2 months later, 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
20 years later, we're still fighting. So that's where we have to be honest as media consumers. Like, if you're not holding them accountable yourself with your money, that's the only thing that holds them
Only
accountable.
thing, man.
Because them ads, the only time you've seen change, like with Bill O'Reilly, Rush Limbaugh, and all of them,
Yeah.
the ads pulled out.
Oh, yeah. Hit them in the pockets.
Yeah. So now that should be our first thing is if you are truly disturbed by what's happened, there are lists of who gave money to who
Oh, absolutely.
and how much.
Yeah.
So say it with your pocketbook.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, tell them when they see them surveys, take them. Sorry, Walmart, I can't spend my money here because
Yeah.
A, you don't pay your workers. B, you give money to or whoever it is. That's where we can be effective,
Yeah.
especially as us.
Absolutely.
And there's sometimes you have to spend the money somewhere that maybe you don't want to spend it, but in
Sure.
those choices we get an option.
Yeah.
You gotta choose something else.
I'm gonna tell you the way the world is going now, though, man. Black entrepreneurs are really on the rise, and they almost have, just about the same thing out there now. So
Yeah.
that can help. But to your point, you're right. Hit them right in the pockets.
Yeah.
Hit them where it hurts. Stop supporting. We already know
and
who
tell
they're
them.
supporting, and tell them.
And tell them. Because I think our generation, we had a little bit more stability.
Yeah, I agree.
And so you don't want to give that up, and I get it. But like there's some places I can't work because I can't support what you're doing. or what you said or what your CEO did. You know, and it's not personal in that way.
No. I get what you're saying.
Right? And if you think about it, like the Montgomery bus boycott, like that was not comfortable for what 60-70% of the people doing it.
Sure.
You know, a couple probably drove and maybe they had flexibility, but for most of them, that was a huge burden.
Gotcha.
And when do we do stuff like that at this point? I mean, small doses, we've done that kind of thing. But I mean, I'm not even sure how you organize all that. I'm not sure how you do it, but it starts with just you committing that I'm not going to support certain things. So just like we all did for the NFL, like a lot of us haven't been back to watching NFL since. I ain't paid for a game.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the whole game.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of us feel that way.
Yeah.
I don't think I've watched the whole game either. And I'm a Chiefs fan. I might watch to the halftime.
I've caught pieces. Yeah, I started watching again maybe 2 years ago for pieces.
I got you.
But I'm just not invested the same.
You know, now, because I have YouTube TV, I got rid of...
With the 4 things here.
Yeah, so what I do now is, like, you can go on there, you can hit it, and you can just hit on stats and, you know, game highlights. So you can just kind of see bits and pieces. You remember how Red Zone? Red Zone on ESPN is, where you can just see, like, from play to play to play. Yeah. And it kind of gives you just like a little insight of the first half of the game. Yeah. I find myself doing that more than watching the whole game anyway, though. Tell you the truth, Jeff.
That's about how I do everything.
For real.
Because I do sports that way.
Okay.
But I don't watch whole news shows either.
Yeah. You watch the bits and pieces.
Yeah.
You can almost get what you need to get out of a reel, though. You're right.
I mean, if we're being real, whether it's sports or politics.
Sure.
It don't take 24 hours to cover nothing.
Oh, my God, no.
You ain't got enough shit to talk about.
No, you damn sure don't.
Stephen A. got 8 shows. Cheddar Sharp got 8 shows.
And they talk about the same thing, really.
What else has happened since yesterday?
Yeah.
So you go on this one, you talk, and maybe you interview somebody different, but you just don't. And that's the Fox News podcast, the Rise of Fox News.
Okay, I got
They
you.
started, CNN started 24-hour news.
Sure.
But it was basically based on trials and kind of like how C-SPAN is now.
Yeah.
It was more boring, and then they'd have news. Then when Fox News comes in, they basically, now they didn't say this in the podcast, but this is my correlation.
I got you.
When WWE went from like local Saturday morning, you know, we all used to watch wrestling with fat dudes jumping off the turnbuckle. You remember when it went from that to like steroid wrestling?
Yes, sir.
You remember?
Yes, sir.
With the boom and the firecracker. Like,
come on, man.
That's what Fox News tried to do for news because they were basically saying, the news wasn't covering conservatives properly.
Okay.
And what they basically meant was y'all always challenge our stuff, but you're not challenging their stuff.
True.
Which, just like today, is because you're fucking lying.
All day long,
you lying. And all I did was show you the results of that you was lying. Like, I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying,
it's true.
Yeah,
it's
just like
true.
the debate where he was like, you challenged him 30 times. You only challenged her 3 times. Well, she only got caught lying 3 times.
Right.
And you had 60. We only challenged 30. So, and they put the crawl on the bottom of the screen. They did all the bright colors and the louder things and the question. Yeah. Is such and such happening? And that way you can't say they said it because they asked the question.
Right.
So that bastardized the news.
Yeah.
That's because you needed time to fill.
Yeah.
24 hours is a long time.
Yeah.
And don't stuff happen most days. So now you're going to cover anything. And sports the same way. Like, it's supposed to be playing them fighting because I just want to hear y'all yell about something.
Oh, my God.
They arguing about whose fashion is the best on the way into the stadium. And then, like, what if Kawhi had played all the games? And what if this? And what if...
It's getting kind of... It's too much.
It's like a barbershop.
Yeah.
Where don't nobody cut no hair.
Nah.
And they just argue all the time.
You know, I really don't care about what they wearing. Tell you the truth, I could really care less about that. I like the performance on the field.
Yeah,
let's get it, man. Well, I like to see the athleticism on the field. You know, when they're doing some crazy.
But you love the sport.
Yeah, so. Absolutely.
Well, and I get that. I get broadening the audience.
Okay, yep.
Because that's what they both try to do.
That's exactly what they're doing.
So you give the backstory, and he's a poor kid from Mississippi.
Yeah.
And some people like to know, like the Olympics.
Absolutely.
Does. But then in politics, they do the same thing. You spending more time telling me background stories. Instead of telling me how you gonna make sure, like, okay, we're fixing inflation. How do you make sure we keep fixing it? You know, Winston-Salem.
Yes.
They were trying to mimic some of Greensboro's growth downtown. Well, if I'm at a city council or other meeting, I want to know how we're going to do that. How do we get it to where our young adults aren't leaving?
Yeah, because they are. They really are.
And I'm gonna tell you, man. And
They really are.
This is my only opinion. Only me.
All
This is a scientific opinion.
Come on.
We don't have happy hour in North Carolina.
No, we don't.
Every other city I've traveled to,
Yeah.
especially when I traveled for work and I was a little younger, you can leave work,
Come on, man.
pop out to do a
Yes,
little
sir.
something.
Yes,
People
sir.
are out, they're having a good time.
Yes.
They eat a little dinner, they go home.
Yes.
You get a different crowd for the late night.
Yes, sir.
You can't do that here.
Well, let me ask you this. In Winston-Salem, do they have because here in Greensboro, we have an Elm. You know, we got Elm. You can drink on Elm Street.
Yes,
So
since
do
COVID.
they have that in Winston?
I don't think so.
don't think
If
so?
so, it would be Trade Street when they have
Yes.
when they have events.
Yes.
But I haven't seen it to the level of Greensboro. And
I
I
think
don't
that
know
would be
along.
cool for
Yeah.
Winston-Salem to implement
They definitely need
in
to.
that, because downtown could really be
Yeah.
a nice little hub, because the energy is there. You know, whenever the festival comes, it's vibrant. It's there,
Yeah.
bro.
And honestly,
So-
Fridays, man, I don't know what it is about Fridays, especially when it was warm.
Yeah.
They got a couple breweries.
Yes.
There's a distillery.
Yes.
There's a couple of nice bars and
Yes.
restaurants. Like there have been people out and people, like not just young or not.
I know what
just
you mean.
old,
Yeah.
people out.
Yeah.
I had a good time a couple times there, which I never used to go out when I lived here, so this
Yeah.
is all new to me.
That's true. That's true.
I was too young to drink when I left.
Well, yeah. But when you come back,
Yeah,
you know,
I came back married, so I wasn't going out there.
Nah, you wasn't going
I'm
out there,
just
right.
now getting to where I go out and do stuff. So,
Yeah.
like me and one of my boys, he's seen more than I have.
I got
but
you.
Yeah, just you can get a good drink, you can get some good food.
Yes, you can.
You can walk around.
I agree.
They're
agree.
doing better. We're trying to like build that corridor between the stadium
Yeah.
and Trade Street.
It looks
So,
good.
Yeah.
It looks good the last time I was over that way. So, it
But
looks
that's
great.
politics.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing that irritates me when people say, well, I don't discuss politics.
Oh, you have to, though. You have to implement it in your
Politics
conversation.
is your life.
Yes. And it affects everything.
Yeah, because you
It
drive on
does.
the highway. Why we always got construction?
Politics.
You know they voted about that.
Right. Zoning.
You know who decides
Right.
that? Exactly.
Exactly.
Why they get a rec center and we
Right.
didn't? Okay. Well,
Okay.
did you go to your
Did you go
meeting
to the
in the
town?
neighborhood?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So
Why
it
is there
affects
garbage?
everything.
The garbage dumped right up the street.
Come
Well,
on.
Did you
Well,
go
did
vote?
you go? Did you? Yeah, that's right.
Do you even know who your alderman is? Like,
Yeah.
who would you call?
Who's your city manager? You know who
There
your
you
city
go.
manager is. You know,
Yeah.
do you know those things? Because they're making those decisions
Yeah.
at those meetings. So you're
Oh,
absolutely
and I
right.
talked to my girl about doing the law perspective.
Ah,
Yeah, she said she'd be down.
Okay, cool.
Because I told her how we were talking about
yeah, that'll be
just
dope.
her local government experience and how
Oh, that'll be dope, man.
understanding why some things can and can't be done quickly or
Yeah.
don't get done at all.
Yeah.
She was down for that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll make that happen.
Yeah.
Say less.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit here quiet too. I'm gonna let y'all go
Oh,
have at it.
But that's the good feed is
Yeah.
you need that because you know some things that maybe did or did not get done. That's really all you need to know. Like, well,
yeah.
I know we were trying to get a stop sign. Or
Yeah.
I know
Why didn't we get it? Yeah.
A big one for me. You don't see public pools getting built the same.
Yeah, you don't, man.
You don't see public basketball courts often. I know. Shout out to Winston State, Coach Samuels just put a new outdoor court in. I think it's Piedmont Circle.
Did he really?
Yeah,
She.
the women's coach.
Excuse me.
Yeah, LTC. So she, I don't know the whole story behind why she wanted that particular one, but
I'm glad they
Winston used
did
to have
that.
outdoor courts
Everywhere. Tim Street, Rupert Bell.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And we used to travel.
Yeah.
Like we would get in a car
Yeah.
and you go,
This one,
you get
that
or you
one,
could walk
or
if
you
you're
could
close
walk.
enough, and
Yeah.
you play all day. Like that was you bring
Yeah.
your hood, I bring my hood, and we play.
I wonder if they're going to put one. Now I know they have a tennis court up there.
By
Boston
Projects.
Projects. Well, it used
Well, it's
to
not
be
the Projects
Boston Projects now,
yeah.
but
It's Boston.
thinking
Thurman, Boston,
Boston, that
Thurman,
area.
Yeah.
In that area, I think it's a tennis court right up there.
Okay, right up
at the
there.
top of the hill, right
Yeah.
across from.
I know you're talking about the rec center was up there.
Yes, yes. And I'm hoping that they continue to do that. You remember back in the day, Bloom Park used to be
Yeah.
the spot. You know,
Yeah.
swimming, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, Bloom.
But
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like now. But
It's still. I play softball there.
Ah.
Well, when you play in the city league in Winston-Salem, if they have enough teams, that is one of the fields they use. So the field's still there.
okay, got you.
In pretty good shape. The they have the little picnic area still there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so a lot of times people,
Yeah.
when we go practice, people are hanging out
I
like
love
in that
that.
neighborhood. But
That's
it's
good.
It's not like it was when we did.
Yeah, we were kids.
Yeah. So you're not gonna see like families and a whole bunch of
Yeah,
people. But
because my mom used
it's
to
a
take
good-
us down there, and the Rocket was the highlight, bro. Down in Bloom.
No, the
Going to
playground
the
is still
top of
down
the-
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
going to the top of the rocket. That was
Yeah.
the highlight for me and my brother and my
remember
sister, man. That was the highlight back then, you know. But
Me too. Dad,
yours too?
Dad plays softball, so like we be
got
out there
you.
all day.
Got you. So yeah, man. You know, I'm glad we're having this conversation about politics because you're right. It does affect everything, which is a great segue for us to get into RFK. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give people a little bit of insight based off of some of the notes that I wrote down. So Samoa, it had a disastrous measles epidemic that happened, and we talking about an island, ladies and gentlemen, that had maybe 200,000 people on it. It was 57,000 cases, 83 deaths, less, and a lot of those 83 deaths were kids. It was that were less than 4 years old. Am I correct, Jeff?
Yeah.
On that.
That's the number I saw.
Yeah. And so vaccines, now when we talk about those vaccines, it's a powdered form. So they got to dilute it with water. But on this particular day, those nurses diluted it with muscle relaxer, which killed, what was it, two
kids,
two
yeah.
kids?
Like
And
immediately, basically.
Immediately, basically. They stopped breathing and they died. So, of course, after that, the problem that you had with the statement that RFK Jr. made, to just kind of give some people some insight. And again, you can double back and talk about it more. But we know this measles, you can't speak against a vaccine, bro. We need it, you know, like scientists and biologists put those things together. You got cancer, you got measles, you got smallpox, you got all of these different diseases, right? So if you make a statement, or he had an episode, if you would, and came out and just blurted out this. So I digress. I'm going to let you kind of talk about this incident.
Yeah.
Because it's wild.
Yeah. Well, it's a bigger picture and a smaller picture.
Sure.
So the smaller picture is this specific outbreak, and this is 2019. Just
Yes,
for those
be
who don't
clear.
know.
Yes, absolutely.
So this wasn't 30 years ago. This was,
Absolutely.
just a couple years ago. So diseases that we have eradicated as America, basically, that rarely occur here or anywhere else in the world, are coming back, like smallpox.
Yes.
Was it foot and mouth disease has been coming back? Measles. Yeah, things like that.
Chicken
So,
pox.
Yeah, chicken pox and shingles and all those things. So the idea being there's an anti-vax movement, and I don't follow it as closely as I probably should.
Got you.
Or could. But the gist is that they believe you should not take those vaccines because you can't tell what's in them and they can cause detrimental harm.
Gotcha.
Now, I do believe that is true in some cases. My belief is just it ain't built for nothing we can build can be built for everybody.
I agree.
Right? Like
I agree.
I got a friend that's allergic to chocolate.
Wow.
And she break out, but she ate chocolate anyway. Like
Ate it anyway.
all through
All her
elementary,
life.
middle school.
Just broke out.
Yeah, just eating M&Ms. Like,
Damn.
allergic to chocolate? Yeah, but it's good. Okay.
Okay, then.
So
Do your thing.
but that's a
Gotcha.
level. Peanuts, and we're seeing a lot more nut allergies, things like that. So like
That's right.
the population is too diverse to make everything work for everybody.
Understood.
A vaccine is meant to cut down the numbers for transmission by getting that herd immunity, basically. So when we do get it, it's a lesser version, and we're not seeing those big numbers because then we have resources to treat it.
Sure.
So I do agree with anti-vaxxers that every vaccine is not great, and it's not great for everybody. And some of
Understood.
that is between you and your doctor and just knowing how you take things.
Understood.
Because, I mean, for me, like, people say they get addicted to opioids. I don't ever feel them when I've taken, like, the really hardcore medicine.
I know what you mean. Yep.
Doesn't do anything for me.
I was going to say, it didn't affect me either. I didn't get addicted to them. Once I was done, I was done.
And it didn't really kill the pain for me. Like, it just didn't do much. So that's just me. That doesn't mean they're ineffective.
Correct.
Because some people need them to function.
I agree.
So
I agree.
sometimes we get in that point where it don't exist to me, so it don't exist. And that's where this came in. So when the two kids died, him and other anti-vaxxers rushed to see, we told you vaccines are killing kids, and a lot claim it brings autism and other things, which I'm not saying it doesn't in some cases.
Right.
I don't know that.
Right.
But I would also argue our diets
Play a huge
our
part.
environmental things, like you got
Yes, sir.
power lines and all kinds of other things that cause detrimental harm to your system that could be either equally causing those things or just other symptoms.
Gotcha.
So I'm not willing to scrap vaccines that are clearly working in mass because it may or may not affect one or two people.
I got you.
I also don't think parents should have to give them if they don't want to.
I agree.
But if you come into this school,
You're gonna have to take that. Yeah, you're gonna have to take that vaccine.
right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's for everyone's safety. And honestly, that's the best time to do it because then we can monitor what's happening.
I agree.
We can be on top of that together.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to that. So the 2 kids died, and he's selling, this is the proof that vaccines are bad, like you shouldn't take any of them. And basically people on the island believed him and stopped taking it. That's how you got your 50,000 cases.
There you go.
Because the numbers dropped for, I think they were saying like 77,
70.
80% of people were vaccinated,
Yeah,
and that
that's
dropped
what
to
they're
like
saying.
30.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So you have to own up to that kind of stuff.
And you have to.
And even if after the fact he has said, you know what, my bad,
Yeah.
something.
But he didn't.
They doubled down.
Nah,
Oh no, that's
double
just what they
down.
want you to know.
Yeah.
Now we know, as black men especially, I don't really trust anything you hand me right off the bat.
Nah,
I didn't trust the COVID vaccine at first.
I didn't either, man.
Because
I didn't either. I can't lie to you.
let me back up. I didn't trust COVID at first. Just in general.
Yeah.
Like it just
Yeah.
something was weird about it. Now, I did know that Trump had defunded President Obama's committees and things that had set up specifically for this type of disaster with
Understood.
With infectious disease.
Yeah, yeah.
So in dismantling all the Obama programs, that's how we opened that door. So that was one. But even then, it just seemed weird to me.
Yeah.
Now, I also know that they made that vaccine differently than what we're accustomed to. So it didn't take you years to research it because they were
Understood.
doing that with, I believe it's RNA. I might have my acronyms wrong.
Okay.
But they did that, mRNA
Yes. Yes.
was a different way to build those vaccines. They had been researching that based on that infectious disease group through Obama when we were beating Ebola and all that kind of stuff.
I got you.
So
Are they mixing that? Are they mixing? Do they mix
What?
that the same way? I know. When I was doing the research on this, just kind of looking through it.
Yeah.
You know, it was saying Samoa gets a powder form of the vaccine, and
Yeah.
they have to dilute it with water. Well, do they do the same thing with us over here, Jeff?
I don't believe that's what we were doing with COVID because of
Okay.
the way they were shipping it.
Understood.
Now, before they shipped it, I don't know.
Say no
Right?
more. I'm
They
with
they
you.
could have been centralizing
Yeah.
that part and shipping it out because you had.
Because
to
I
do it
always
so quick.
wondered that.
Yeah.
You know, now I would see them. Well,
Yeah.
they would show how they're mixing it, or
Yeah, I'm pretty sure nurses were not doing anything like that for COVID. I know that.
scientists.
And more than likely, it's because of that small island, that small population.
Yes.
Like what we send to Africa or Samoa or smaller countries is definitely different than what
Different
we
what
get
we get here.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. The messenger RNA.
Okay.
Single-stranded molecule that carries genetic information from DNA in the cell's nucleus. So that is a different type of vaccine.
Understood.
Which is how they got it faster. Which is how they could build it. And the cool thing, because I'm repping my UNC
Right on,
Tar Heels
right
won
on,
last night.
right on.
And so a lot of the vaccine research was done in Chapel Hill.
Understood.
So that is when I honestly started to get a little more because they were putting it in the alumni magazine, and I was
Understood.
reading about how they were doing it.
Okay,
And
understood.
who was involved. So I said,
Okay.
okay, there seems to at least be some research behind it.
Mm-hmm.
My parents took it. Every medical professional I know, from surgeons down to nurses, and,
Took it.
and
Took the
dentists
vaccine.
even, were saying take it as soon as you can. And
Mm-hmm.
the ones who were working in hospitals and stuff were like, take it for me, 'cause
Yeah.
we're at risk
Yeah,
and people
yeah.
are coming in. You ain't seeing what we're seeing.
That's true.
So that's when I did it.
Understood.
And that's what I didn't really respect from him and others who were like, oh, no, you can't take that. Like,
That's dangerous, man.
well, if you did some research with professionals and, the internet, because the internet is not research. Just
Right.
the internet is not research because you can't validate the source. half the
No,
time.
you
So
can't.
it's only research.
The source is scary. It's scarce out here.
Exactly.
Right,
and you can
right.
counterpoint. I'm not saying
Yes.
you got to believe everything you hear in each
Yes,
space, but
yes, yes.
if you see one thing, you should be trying to prove the opposite.
Man, you got to almost.
And while you try to prove the opposite,
Yes.
then you'll get your answer.
Yes.
That's research.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. So
You're right, though.
what that shit irritates me. Somebody, well, I heard that doesn't count.
No, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your uncle who fixes cars is not a valuable resource for me. on
He don't know.
vaccines. Yeah.
He don't know. No way he got it
And
from.
he ain't had no health insurance. Of course, he don't take vaccines.
No, and he's not gonna take it.
Yeah. And that's
Not
why he
gonna
got a
take
limp like that. over
That's
there,
why
too.
I got a limp.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that part was what frustrated me.
Understood.
Especially for us, because
Yeah.
We should distrust everything,
We should.
but
We
that
don't,
does not
though.
mean you don't act on things
Yes.
or do additional
Yeah.
research and information.
Yeah.
I don't trust nobody, especially when you try to hand me something I got to put in me.
In your body too. You ain't lying.
Yeah, but I'm gonna read a little bit. I'm gonna ask a
Yeah.
little bit. We actually did a family reunion call because of COVID. We couldn't have our actual family reunion that year.
Really?
And one of my uncles ran a hospital at the time. It was in California.
Love it.
So they're all in that 70s, 60s age range. My
Yeah.
my aunts and uncles and parents.
Understood.
So that there was a big concern, like aging population. This is what do we need to do? So we did a literal. It might as well have been an educational conference call.
Right.
And he had a little PowerPoint, and he's talking about how they built it and what's
Love
going
it.
on, and broke it all down. So that's when I took it, because we were an hour and a half. We sat there and talked.
Understood.
But that's, if you don't have that in your family, that's the part you got to reach out and get to.
You got to get to. Yeah.
Who's your friend that might know? Friend of a friend that might know.
Other friend. friend.
Hey, you're a doctor.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, because I definitely asked some people
Yeah.
in my circle that work in the medical field, and they said, well, just don't take two separate ones. Make sure if you're going to take Pfizer, take Pfizer.
Exactly.
All the way through.
Exactly.
Don't switch up.
Exactly.
If you're going to take Johnson & Johnson, well, don't take Johnson & Johnson, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Because I didn't take
Right.
that Johnson.
Look, and I know some people who took
I
it,
know some-
and most of them okay.
They okay,
Yeah.
but I wasn't going to take
Man,
it, bro.
that was the Dollar General of vaccines. I went to Target. I got Moderna.
Oh my God, Johnson & Johnson,
Yeah.
boy. What?
But real talk, if it had been available here, I would have took it.
I got you.
Because it was only one.
Yes, sir.
So in my mind,
That took care of everything.
Give me the one. Yeah, I'm
Give me
still
that
young
one, I'm
enough.
done.
Yeah, like I figured
I
it'd be
took
stronger.
I took a series, yeah.
And that was probably just better for your system. And
I'll be honest with you, yeah. Because it didn't even affect me. I heard people saying, I did
Yeah.
this and that. I didn't, it didn't bother me afterwards. I was good.
and when I finally got COVID,
Yeah, because I did get COVID too.
but I got directly from a person like that had just left a conference, which they got it for somebody else that didn't know. So if not for that being a person I was that close to,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have got
I was at a show. I went to a show and we were all, I think COVID had just lifted. It might have been like we've just come outside. And it was during the festival, actually.
Oh, yeah.
One
I
in
remember that one.
2022, I think it was.
Yeah, I was
Was
up
it
there.
22? Yeah.
Yeah, it should have been 22 because 20 was when it shut down.
20 when it
So
shut
22
down.
would've
So
been it.
22. And I did that. Man, I got sick like a couple of days after that, bro. And it was COVID.
Yeah.
So that means it still was kind of lingering a little bit after those 2 years. But other than that, after that, I didn't get sick no more.
Well, and I think that's where a better president gets us there sooner. Because I think people were confusing vaccines will keep you from getting it.
Yeah.
With it lessens the effect and it lessens the transmission. That's
Yeah.
what we were trying to get to.
Yes.
We weren't preventing anything.
Nah.
That cat was out the bag.
Man,
and
yes,
so
sir.
if Trump comes out in the beginning and says, we don't know what we got yet, but we're going to take precaution and approach it that way,
Sure.
we're not in that place for most of 2020. Because stuff we didn't have. We didn't have vaccines, because we weren't working on them. But,
True.
that's
True.
not his fault per
True.
se. We didn't have masks. We didn't have sanitizer. Like we had all these things that people were having to catch up on. And so that's when you're transmitting. And so you saying it's not serious, like I was coaching at a Christian school then. And
It's serious.
quite a few of them didn't think it was serious. So they was in school the whole year. And then kids started dropping off, and then grandma and them started dying. And so people believed it towards the end.
Oh, yes, sir.
But if someone that you trust had come out and said, hey, let's take this serious.
Yeah.
Let's get on this together. I think we got a whole different
I agree.
process there. But like that's the problem with politics now is that you have to pick a side.
Yeah, you do.
And once you pick a side, for some people, I hate saying the word on both sides because
No, I get what you're saying,
it's a cop
man.
out to me.
I
It's
get
like
what
a
you're
double
saying.
technical in basketball. Like somebody started it.
Yes.
It's not a double technical. So in doing that whole I'm on this side, like now I can't believe anything you say.
Yeah.
And that's just childish and it's dangerous.
Very,
like
man.
you should be thinking, I'm going to be critical of everything you say. Like tell me so I can listen. And here's why that's stupid. Like I'm fine with that. When you can go fact by fact, point by point.
got you.
But just because you said it,
Oh,
and
no.
now because like they were showing me I don't know if you saw the chart after the election. They've been showing like
I did.
the policies blind.
Yeah.
Like not saying who submitted them. And in that case, like 70% of Republican voters actually favored Harris's policies if you didn't put the name.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's the same thing happened with Obama.
They was hiding.
Yeah.
They was hiding.
We hate Obamacare, but that Affordable Care Act, we can keep that.
You can keep it.
It's the
Yeah.
same thing. It's like
It's the same damn
it's the
thing.
same thing.
It's the same damn
He ain't
thing.
even called Obamacare. Y'all did. Because you thought that was a negative.
There you go.
So like that's where those of us who do pay attention have to be talking to those people who don't.
Absolutely.
So like I have a neighbor who wasn't a common voter. Like he didn't vote all the time. And that's what we were talking about the first time. It was like we need everybody. Because
man,
this
you
is
gotta
how,
vote, man.
Well, and he was dejected in the sense of, oh, nothing happens. I'm going to be okay anyway, and I'm going to whatever.
Yeah.
But he didn't realize that Trump was talking about getting rid of overtime, and he gets overtime.
Yeah.
So it won't affect you until he get rid of his overtime, and you lose a couple $1,000s a year. It didn't affect me until Trump's tax plan, the one we're still under, changed the deductions for small business, like for sole proprietors.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he hit me for like $3 or $4 grand a year. Right
Yes,
there.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it does affect you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
No question.
It might not break you.
Nah, but it affects you though.
It's going to affect you.
Yeah.
And if not you, and this is my black man problem. If it don't affect you, you make enough money, you have a setup, well, whatever's good, you're good.
I got you.
What about everybody else?
Yeah.
Did you claim to care about? Does it affect them? Because you might live in a place where they know you enough that you're not worried about the cops pulling you over.
Correct. But that may not be the case. I'm with you.
I don't know a black man who hasn't been at least searched on
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh, I
even
know
a
what you
hey,
mean.
can I see your ID? Like something
absolutely.
like that.
Like, relax.
That same
What are you
uncle who
talking
ran the hospital
Yeah.
was in Bethesda, Maryland before he moved to California, jogging in his own neighborhood. Been there, I think, 15, 20 years. Cop stopped him, made him get on the ground. And he's in jogging clothes, mind you, like workout stuff. And military guy, too. So, like, very clean cut, put together.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir, no, sir. So, all the excuses you usually use to harass people, like, that's what I hear. So,
Wow.
even though I feel pretty good, I don't think I'm in danger of any particular thing. Like, that's what I'm thinking of.
I see what you're talking about.
What happens if that wasn't him? What happens if he had just got off work in construction and was dirty?
Scary.
You know, what if he was just doing yard work and looked out of place, and then somebody can say that, and then when it happens, you find all the reasons why it was his fault.
Yeah.
Like happens every single time.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
that's what I want my people talking about. I don't want to hear. Well, hold up, do I want to go down that? I don't want to hear presidential candidates specifically, but especially lesser candidates talk to me about. I'm just a small kid from here, and I did.
It's a lot of that.
I don't give a shit about none of that.
Yeah, it's a lot of that.
Now,
though,
tell me
Joe.
up front. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Put it on your website. Tell
Yeah.
me once. I don't need to hear that no more.
But they use it all the time, though.
That's what they do. Well,
Yeah.
you want to humanize yourself, and you want to connect in that way. Well, I'm a small kid from such and such too. Like,
Who cares?
we shouldn't.
Let's talk some policy.
And the problem is that we've dumbed everything down from school on up.
Yeah.
Like, they're not doing reading comprehension anymore.
No, they're not.
Like, they're smarter because they do math sooner. They do a lot of stuff
They do.
earlier. But as far as actually being able to break down things, and I'm honestly probably started my generation because I know some 40-year-olds who ain't that bright. And then once you break it down for them, they're like, oh. And so just assuming that people pay attention and can read. Look, dude, they were saying, what was it? I forgot
You're being honest, though. You're being
Right.
honest, bro.
But
It's
you remember
what
that it
is.
was like reading comprehension stats. I can't remember. I think it was like 50% of
Yeah.
Americans read it like an 8th grade level or below. So
Wow.
every time you speak highbrow and the American citizen likes this or does that, no, they don't. Like, that's just false.
Yeah.
There is no American citizen. Because even a black man in the South, black man in the North, black man in the Midwest, they may have enough different views.
Sure.
Not to mention the other races,
Yes.
sexes, ages, lifestyles, whatever. So to say that is just stupid to me.
Yeah.
I think you should be saying you should be talking about what we should want. I want an America where we feel this.
Yeah.
I want to believe that America would not vote for a convicted felon who clearly was running for president to
Yeah.
escape prosecution.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a freaking
It's really scary time, man.
dude. It's a Tubi movie. If I
Yeah,
told
man.
you there was a movie where a dude who'd been president and had already been caught, impeached twice, convicted, third wife, already talking about trying to bang his daughter, like all the other stuff,
Wow,
and he's running
dude.
for president again, you'd be
Yeah.
like, man, that's the dumbest movie I ever heard of. Like,
Nah, true story.
who gonna watch that?
Only in America. Only in America.
And the rest of the world is like, dude, are y'all serious?
Yeah.
Like everybody, I don't travel internationally, especially now, but everyone I know that does, that's what they're continually talking about. It's their international friends, either who are here or when they travel abroad, are saying like, dude, like, what are y'all doing? Like, what are you doing?
It's wild. Because you would think to go into that arena, you damn near need to be squeaky clean. Damn near.
It's what we were told.
Yeah, you damn near like, I would never run for a pop. I would never run for that seat. Only because
we should run now.
I know my
we should run now.
Jeff, right?
We should run now.
Jeff is crazy.
I said the same thing.
Like, what? I would never run because I know my past, right? I know my past.
Dude.
But the way it's looking like, well, I might as well go ahead and run for alderman or councilman.
And say it with your chest.
And say it with my chest.
Just be one that's like, look, let me talk to y'all about drug treatment facilities.
Absolutely.
And they be like, what you know about it? Don't you worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
What you need to know is this that y'all got here ain't gonna work.
This ain't it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and think about mental health. Like we used to run from the stigma of that. That's been a big push to make sure people are admitting everybody needs that help.
Everybody does.
You could never have said that you had bouts of depression.
Come on, bro. Never.
And then run for anything.
But you can now.
I think for some people it'll still hurt you. But honestly,
I think so too.
I would not say that. If I were advising candidates at this point.
You wouldn't tell them to say anything. Yeah.
No, I'm saying say everything. Fuck it. I mean, what's the point?
Go ahead and let loose.
Well, because
look at the environment we in.
It's the, you gonna blackmail me? Like, you know what I'm saying? I tell everybody.
Right. Just go ahead and tell them.
At least be ready to divulge yourself.
I agree.
Because
they're gonna ask. They're gonna ask anyway.
Think about in most businesses we know, your best coaches are guys who messed up their chance when they were playing.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, your best mentors are guys who probably either went to jail or should have and lived the life. And now they know how to talk to this kid and get them out of it.
Yes.
You know, your best female mentors, you know, they either got pregnant too early or chased a man or did some other thing.
Something crazy.
And so now they're giving that wisdom to somebody else.
Yes, man.
So why wouldn't that be the same in politics?
I agree, man. I agree. Yeah. I think it should be that way.
Yeah.
Because it says, okay, life experiences have taught me. I may not be able to go back and revisit that again. I'm not going to because it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
But if I can keep you from doing it,
let
me shed some light on this right here. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, like Jay-Z saying. So hopefully you don't have to go through that.
You don't have to go.
Right. Yeah, I've been through it.
I've been through it.
And that's, I mean, that's what good parents do.
That's what good parents do.
They let you fall on your face a little, but hey, I'm telling you, don't go that way.
I'm telling you, don't do that. All right. Let me tell you why. I'm big on that.
Hey,
I do that now with my 14-year-old.
Yes, that's
I'm big on that.
Too.
Like, yo, listen, man. I did that, man. Yeah. I'm telling you, if you act up in school now, it's gonna follow you all the way to high school.
Yeah.
He's a late bloomer, so school October 1st.
Okay.
So he's born in October.
So he'll go next
year. He'll be in the 9th grade next year. He's 14, but he's in the 8th grade.
Gotcha.
You know, birthday behind. So just sharing that wisdom with him, like, yo, dude, listen to me.
Yeah.
I know you think it's cool right now. I said, but honestly, it's not. So.
Yeah. And this generation is tougher.
Oh, it is, man.
I remember. Woo. You remember when people were first kind of doing that whole, I'm just over and uninterested for our generation, which I'm sure our parents' generation did too.
Sure.
But like my nephew's the youngest one's 17 now, and he's a lot like me, according to his mom and my brother.
I
don't think that's a compliment all the time.
Right, I got you.
It's mostly a compliment.
You know what, you act just like your uncle.
Is it? Well, he'll say something smart, and I mean,
okay.
I do that.
Okay.
But he don't be around me enough to have gotten it from me. Like, you know,
I got you.
It's just in him.
It's just in him. Right.
So I blame my dad because like that's
there
his
it
genes.
is.
That's his genes. That ain't my genes.
Right. It's passed down.
But just I want him to be intentional with decisions. Like, it's okay if you don't want to do it, but don't not do it because I don't care. Or don't not do it because I'm scared, or don't not try it because some other reason, because that gets in you.
That's
like,
right.
That's like, you know, when they coaches say don't quit because if you quit, you just get in a habit.
Yes.
All those things are habits.
Yes. Yes.
So you don't have to know where you're going all the way.
Not
you
all
got
the
to go
way.
somewhere.
But you got to go somewhere.
Start with a small plan.
Come on.
We can always pivot.
Yes,
we
sir.
can't stand still.
We can't stand still.
Yeah.
Cannot do that. That's right.
So I think that's what I want to see politically
I like it.
over that push for. I mean, we just got to admit that certain people are there for the power.
Oh yeah.
Another good movie. I watch way too much TV.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
And honestly, we was talking about my podcast. If I'm doing that, probably should be it. It's just me talking about all the TV and movies I watch. Because Lord, I can equate anything to TV.
I got you.
Anyway, Distinguished Gentleman with Eddie Murphy.
Oh,
you seen that?
Yes.
Best political movie I've ever seen.
Man, so good.
Well, because it's the realest one.
It's hilarious.
Like,
too.
dude is a con man.
Yes.
He gets there, realizes he's the least con man of the whole bunch. Because half of them are just there to be there. And the
Just
one
to
or
be
two
there.
guys who are really there to make change,
Yes, sir.
everybody
Yes,
kind of
sir.
picks on.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
now that we admit that,
Yes.
that's why we have to pick like a Jasmine Crockett or somebody else who's willing to go and actually kick some shit over.
Oh, and she doing it too. I love it.
You can't go there hoping to stay. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's my problem is
Yeah.
whether you went there to stay or not,
Yeah.
when you get there, I don't want to leave. And so you start to act in a way that keeps you there instead of acting in a way that's going to be productive.
Yeah.
And that's why I love AOC. I don't agree with everything she agrees with. I wouldn't support everything she says, but that's what it's supposed to look like. That's a person who believed when they told them this is what the government does.
Yeah.
When they got there and was like, this is what we're here to do.
Yeah.
You crashed the White House, the Capitol, broken everybody's office and stuff, and then you calling them patriots. Like,
It's crazy, man.
I guess my thing, so you tell me this. Suppose one of those House of Representatives, senators, when they broke in January 6th, maybe one of the ones who believes in the Second Amendment a little strongly,
Yeah.
pops 2 or 3 of them people coming in their office. How do you think your Republican, it was a peaceful day kind of people would have taken multiple people being shot by representatives when they broke in?
They'd be upset.
Yeah.
It'd be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so the way I look at it, like when somebody, I forgot, might have been Philando Castile when he got killed. The one that was with his girlfriend and told him I got a gun and they shot him anyway. I think that was him. It's so many. It's so many, man. Like I'd be forgetting.
I got you.
Because I can't just be angry all the time. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, so like in that case, my anger was based on this dude has a licensed firearm in a car, shouldn't have been stopped, tells the officer he has one, and that gets him shot. If the NRA believes in the Second Amendment like they say, they'd have been the first one there. You wouldn't have needed Attorney Crump.
Oh, not at all.
They would have been front and center.
Yes, sir.
This is unacceptable. Americans are allowed to carry guns. Like, we cannot have officers doing this. Like, let's do a commission, whatever, if you really believe that. So, like, that's where us being involved and repeatedly being involved
We have to.
is where you need to be there. Because, like, your chief of police, your sheriff, there are people who can affect some of this. Your DA, your attorney general for the state, your court and judges who you appoint for those. Like, a lot of that stuff matters for that exact example. Because that's the only way we've gotten justice in any of these cases.
I agree.
You had somebody who was usually voter, they got the vote, or they were appointed by someone you elected. That's the only way you're going to get justice for that.
I'll be honest with you. That's it, man. It's the thing that scares me is you wonder if it's going to get worse.
It will.
You hope it doesn't, but you're like, man.
So what do you mean by it get worse?
Police brutality.
Okay, yeah.
And then the license to do it. Now, here's the thing. I want the police to come to my house if something happens,
I don't.
You don't, Jeff?
I don't call police for shit but reports. Like you saw your dude, was it Brandon something? I don't want to say his name.
But you know what? To your point, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because of the young lady, she got killed. And
Breonna Taylor.
Yes.
Well, it was one this past week.
Yeah, man.
And he called the police.
Yeah.
His 15-year-old's in the house. He's fighting the intruder when the police get there. He's in his pajamas or like boxers or something like that. Like, so in his drawers basically in his own house, wrestling a clothed man in like, I guess he had something cover his face, something like that, with a knife. Cop busts in, shoots the black dude in his drawers, in his house, like 5 times.
Wrong guy.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, you are the officer. Nobody was threatening you. Why are you shooting in general?
Why are you shooting?
Because even the knife guy didn't try to knife you.
Nah, he knifing
You supposed to saying free.
the citizen as his house.
And then you didn't shoot the guy with the weapon. You shot the other guy.
He shot the other guy.
So basically, you broke in that house, and Dave Chappelle tells a joke where he was like, he basically the same thing I said. I don't call the police. He's like, because my house is too nice. And they was like, it's not like it's super duper nice, but it's nice enough they won't think I live there.
That's funny.
So I'll call the police and they roll up in there and they like,
bro, that's funny.
Hey,
That's funny.
He's still here. Like,
That's funny.
That's why I love Dave.
Yeah.
But to me, so the worst, the reason why I asked you, what do you mean by worst?
Sure.
This whole
Of course,
experiment.
everything, but
exactly.
I ain't gonna front. That concerns me.
Yeah.
I mean, that concerns me with some of the things that are implemented because there are some that wear the blue uniform just ain't right.
Yeah.
You can't say everybody's wrong, but I mean you can.
Yeah.
But maybe it's the culture. Maybe it's
okay.
So maybe it's sprinkled out in there. I don't
right.
know.
You're right. You need to listen to Empire City.
I will. I'm gonna check it out,
just
man.
Just because of what you're just saying.
Yeah, I've had some. Here's the thing. I've had some great experiences, but I've also experienced some horrible ones too.
Same.
Okay.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? I've ran into some great officers. I even know some great officers.
Yeah.
I know
a
some
couple.
great officers. But there are some that scare the hell out of me. You know what I'm saying? It's like
it's just not worth the risk.
Nah. So I'm gonna do everything they tell me to do for the sake of nothing bad happening. You know what I'm saying? And you hope that it doesn't. But go ahead, Jeff.
Well, no, everything you're saying, because that person's bad day could be my worst day.
Worst day, correct.
And that's I don't want to risk it.
Nah.
Now there are cops I know personally that I will call and have.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me
usually
too.
people either I went to high school with or I know. And if they recommended somebody, I might
say yeah.
But just over the line, hey, come out. No.
I'm scared. Yeah.
Well, because when I've called police for me, they can't ever do anything.
I got you.
Hey, this person threatened me, and what should I do? Oh, well, we can't do that until they do something.
Right.
Oh, so they got to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Dude, just call. I can show you the number.
Right.
Like, they said they was coming by. Like, you can't do nothing until they do something. Or, hey, I had an ex in, well, we won't say what age.
Okay.
But, some people I know watch this. But,
okay, say no more.
But made like said enough of threatening things where I wondered like, hey, what are my options? I'm sorry, we can't do nothing. Like, I can't send an officer. So like, I just need you to fill out the police report for insurance. That's the only thing I need cops for at that point. Because they're not gonna be here when it happens.
Nah,
so
not at all.
They can't, they're not Batman. They're not gonna show up and do that. So that's why I don't do that. But with the getting worse part, as we try to make everything the worst thing ever.
I know, right?
Right. Especially if you're a Trump voter, because like America's a cesspool and everybody's doing it. And now all of a sudden it's great because you won. There are people who only learn through that trauma and tragedy.
Yeah.
And if you look at how we got Obama in the first place,
I agree.
The only reason you had a black president in the first place is because George Bush was so bad and Cheney was so corrupt that people was like, I mean, we could give him a try.
It was right.
Right? And he really slid by because I don't think white people, the white people who did not want him just to be there, period, just stayed home. Much like this year with the people who stayed home for Congress.
Yes.
It's not that Obama killed it that much the first year. It's just a lot of people just stay home figuring they don't need me. He's not going to win.
Yeah.
So if Bush doesn't, invade the wrong country, Citizens United, the Tea Party and all their stuff, Blackwater. I mean, you can go down the line. Yeah. And then Obama's worst scandals was he wore a tan suit and he used drones too much. Like those are his main two.
I agree.
And the drone thing wasn't exactly, small, but considering we weren't investing in troops, what did you expect? So, but like that's where we are now.
Yeah.
We dropped some with Trump, all this stuff happened, but the way that we're intaking that information, people aren't equating that where it needs to go. They didn't,
I agree.
They didn't fully blame him. It's all their fault. Okay, well now you're gonna have to see. Because when these tariffs come, and don't sleep, the money's gonna hit before the tariffs come. Because companies are gonna be adjusting prices before the tariffs come. They're already talking about as much as 20% on some things. Problem is, Americans are stupid and we don't realize we don't make shit here no more. So pretty much everything you have is being imported in some part. Like it may be like your sweatshirt may be printed here, but where did the sweatshirt get put together?
Yeah.
You know, where'd that cotton come from to go there? Like where did the pieces of things that we use come from?
Well, it's Gildad, so South Carolina, I think,
right? Well, and you know, we had Hanes, some of that stuff.
You got Hanes, yeah, you got you. But
a lot of times we don't know in that supply chain if any part of that is imported.
That's true. That's true.
That could jack that price up.
That's so true.
And for small business, who knows? That might be your margin to be successful.
Oh, absolutely. And most of the time it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the rest of them going to pass it on to you.
Oh, yeah.
And so to me, that's what we've been seeing. Have you noticed since COVID, you don't see things go on sale, like really on sale.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Like 50, 60% off. Like electronics don't, clothes don't. They just don't.
Only time you see is right around this time of year.
But
slashing,
but it's not as good as it
still
used to be.
Exactly. Not at all.
Yeah. Dude, I used to go to Nike outlet and get like workout shirts.
Man,
for like
I was going to say that.
Did you go?
Man, let me tell you, I used to go there, and I used to also hit up Belk. You remember when Belk used to do, like, you can go in there and get a Ralph for like $10.
Oh, like the extra 60% off.
Yeah, like you get the extra. Dude, it ain't like that no more. You can get some chaps now.
Exactly.
You can get those
or
chaps.
you can pay almost full price.
Almost full price. But I remember a day where you could go in there, man. I remember one time I went in and spent $100, man, and left out of there with a bag full of polos and hats.
Dillard's Clearance Center in High Point.
Oh, man, yeah.
I used to kill them.
Kill them, man, because they slash it down so low. It's like, you mean to tell me this big polo is $10?
They not doing it anymore.
Nah.
And part of that is, so tying that to politics with capitalism, like, that's the problem is when we went from the point where I make a great product, I sell it, you work for me. I pay you a good wage. I make more money than you, obviously, because I put the
Absolutely.
Now it's like, let me make as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And I'll pay you as little as I possibly can.
I agree.
And if they'll pay me, I'll sell out altogether, and I don't care about, like,
I agree.
There's no, like, think of how many communities just in North Carolina that were built on a company who stayed there probably when they didn't have to.
Quite a bit.
You know, Winston is one.
Oh, definitely.
Durham with the North Carolina Mutual Insurance.
Yes, sir.
Charlotte before the banking. Like,
yes, sir.
There are pockets.
Small Sanford, Kingston.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
So, but that was the point, was I am this town. And the CEO could have made twice as much if they did something else or shipped something out, but that's not what you did.
Yeah.
And now that's where we are. That's what we're doing. And they're feeding that in because his cabinet appointments are all basically people who are going to continue that.
Yes. Because when you ride through, to your point, when you ride through those small towns in North Carolina, you see how big textile was there.
Oh, yeah. Thomasville,
when you go through there, man, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
As I remember back in the day, you probably remember it too, Jeff, when you go through Thomasville, you would smell the furniture, the wood pulp from it.
Yeah.
It was strong.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. Though.
Yeah. That for furniture, Hanes
too.
over on Winston.
Yes, sir.
Stroh's Brewery is right near where I grew up.
Man, so right in that area right there, boy, you could smell that.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
I remember when it left.
Yeah.
That was a huge blow to this area.
Oh, yeah. And the tobacco, when they had the lofts running downtown.
Yes, sir. You could smell that tobacco. It's not like that anymore. You remember Marita Bread used to be. You remember Marita Bread right there on Liberty?
Yeah.
It was right by Zesto.
I was thinking of the other bread went over by Hemingway.
That one too. That one too. Right. It used to be right beside the Zesto.
Okay.
And then what was the other place? Holly Farms used to be.
Yeah, Holly Farms had them potato wedges.
But it was so.
Hey.
We dating ourselves too. That go way back, Jeff.
I was pretty little. Like that was one of them. I was like, get in the car, let's go to Holly Farms.
Come on, man, after church.
And we all go to church at East Winston, so you're right there.
Come on, man, right there. All of us in East Winston. You're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of that, like you said, all of that's politics.
Yeah.
Like Reynolds is gone, damn near.
Yeah.
You got a few plants still left where people are still packing cigarettes, still, people still working there and making pretty decent money. But when they left, it was a huge Nabisco, what was it? R.J. Reynolds Nabisco, pretty much. And they left. I remember when they made that merger, it was a big deal.
Oh, yeah. My dad was there.
So.
Because he got past that first round where they laid people off.
Man, and they started hitting them. Johnson Control was another one. Douglas Battery.
Yeah.
All those places. So you're right. All of that's politics when you think about it.
Yeah, because the incentives is what moved banking to Charlotte.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
They give a lot of incentives.
Oh, man, they do. I was thinking about what big company was that came and pulled out, though, Jeff? Was it there? It was
right near my house. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a huge blow too, because that was millions, bro.
And don't if you haven't been to that area, that's basically where I live. Like
I got you
on Union Cross right there.
Okay, yeah.
So I used to run during COVID. No gyms. I ran all up and down there.
Understood.
They built whole neighborhoods there.
Oh,
like
bro.
There's like housing that they built just for those people.
Yes,
they
you got Chick-fil-A out there now.
Yeah, that's been new.
Chick-fil-A and
Bojangles.
Bojangles is out there. Sheets is out there, but they still building, man.
Well, that's just not getting built because when Dell pulled out, I think some of the need to put that stuff there paused because they cleared the land 8 years ago.
Yeah, because it's right by Glen.
Yeah, but they just started building like 3 or 4.
You're right. You're right, and they still got that patch of land right there. I've always wondered who owns that patch of land. You know, it's a brick house right here, but that brick house right here. But going this way is a whole.
Yeah, I think that's becoming a development now. If we're talking about the same place, there's one that they cleared a little more right next to the highway.
They did. Right, and I saw the condos that they just built over there.
Yeah,
coming right off the highway. The condos like right to your left.
Yeah, I run back there.
Okay, gotcha.
I got shot back there like a couple of weeks ago.
Quit playing, man.
Yeah, like a drive-by. Yeah. Crazy.
Out there?
It just opened too. Yeah, just
bro,
opened.
That's gonna be the hood. I hate to say it.
Dude.
I hate to say it.
See, and
they put them up so fast though, Jeff.
They're fairly nice. I mean, I've driven back in there, and I'm pretty sure it was somebody who didn't live there. Yeah. Because it was more like somebody pulled over or something like that, just based on the news report.
Yeah.
But now I get it. So that's the part when we're talking about politics too, is like when you're young and broke and idealistic, you got one perspective, and you should have a slightly different perspective when you have a family and you got some irons in the fire.
Yeah.
And you'll have a different perspective when you got a little something to lose.
Absolutely.
So definitely don't think everyone should agree, but like that's one of them. Because my first thought was like, but y'all better not lower my damn property value over here.
Jeff, they getting ready to.
That was my first thought.
Because when I saw it, I was like,
yeah.
What?
Well, people were texting me because like, if you've ever been in my house or you know where I live, there's like, wait a second. So everybody's texting me like, yo, are you okay? And I wasn't home. I was like in
So
DC
you was like, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, then I had to look it up. They sent me the article and I could see, because I run that street.
I got you.
A lot. So
I got you. Yeah, man.
And it wasn't at night. So my first thought was like, if I was still working from home all the time, I could have been trotting right on through there.
Absolutely, you could have, Jeff.
And yeah, so that worried me a little bit. But I mean, it's still that's a really nice area.
Nice area. Yeah.
But now I get why some older people didn't want apartment complexes built near their houses, because you get renters.
Because
and renters
right down
don't take
from
care of the
there,
house.
that's true. And right down from there is condos. Right down from there, so you got the new place. If you go a couple of miles down, a couple of miles down from the highway. Like say if you're going towards Chick-fil-A, going towards Glen.
Okay.
So when you go past Glen on the right, if you're coming that way, you're going past it on the right. Sheets will be on your right. Yeah. If you keep straight, Jeff, do you remember those condos? Like right there to your left, and it's a housing development right there.
The house development, yes. I don't remember condos.
There's some condos like right here to your left. I can't think of the name of. They've been there a while though.
Okay, yeah.
And across, as soon as you go past Glen, you got the houses, you got the open field, and then right there to your left, you'll miss it. If you blink, you'll miss it. It's a condo development, like right there to your left, brick. Okay. Real nice.
Okay.
And they're right beside the housing development.
Okay.
But they're condo. You can own that. Those properties. You can own that.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of an older generation that lives.
It's houses, but it's like
a hub
with a split wall. Like
yes. So it's real nice out there. Again, politics affects real estate. All of that.
Oh yeah. I mean that was huge because I remember when they were talking about they gave Dell.
They gave Dell a lot of money.
And it just weren't there. Now, Caterpillar is in there now.
Oh, so
they did get somebody in
John Deere. Where's John Deere near there? Or John Deere is in...
They're on the other side of Kearns where they have some stuff. But I think their big factory is like in... I think it's around like you bypass Greensboro.
I got you. I don't know why I thought they was right there in that same area. Okay, I got you. So that's Caterpillar. Yeah, that's right. Because you take a left, you take a right, and
go down to Caterpillar.
Go to Caterpillar. Yeah, that was a big deal for that area too.
Yeah, well, I mean, we need jobs. If I were running for something, like where Kamala was talking about the housing and making sure you have money available, better loans, stuff like that, because these kids aren't having the same incomes that we were having, and that everything's going up in price.
Yeah.
But it's also the jobs you can get.
Yeah.
Because like
That's true.
can't.
That's true.
I used to tell people Winston was a great middle class place to grow up.
Oh, it was, man.
Because you could graduate high school, get a good job at Haynes, RJR, somewhere like that.
Johnson Control,
and you
Douglas
could work
Battery.
10 years.
Oh, yeah.
And make great money.
Great money, man.
So if you didn't go to college, you could still do something.
Oh, yeah.
At a lot of companies.
You can make good money.
Because like when I played Little League, like the dads, one dad I think was on the radio. My dad worked at Reynolds.
I got you.
Somebody else was a lawyer. Somebody else
Everybody
was a
had a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was so diverse on our side of
Very
town.
diverse, yes.
Like the south side of town,
Yeah.
like you didn't know. At one point, I mean, we were never poor, but we were
I
at
see what
a
you're saying.
check-to-check level
Oh, yeah.
at some points.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
But you didn't know that. Like,
Nah.
because you playing Little League and you're doing stuff, and then
Your parents was investing into, make sure you stay busy.
And then Winston,
Yeah.
you still had Clemens and Louisville and
Oh,
like
yeah.
the richer areas.
Oh, absolutely.
And even parts of East Winston. There was
Go out to Tanglewood
some
and-
money over there, too.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't play with them. Over at Carver District.
I had
Oh,
some
yes,
friends over
sir.
there. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, like, that's when we say diversity, that's
Yes,
what we
that's what we mean. Because if you being honest, if you go down Waterworks, if you go past the Y and hit that
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
you'll be surprised.
Hey.
Some Negroes down there got some money.
Yeah.
Old money,
and
too.
some old houses,
Old
and they
houses.
own it, so
And
they
they
probably
own it.
got more cash
Come
than
on,
some of these
man.
nicer neighborhoods.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's like that Reynolds Park Road too.
Yeah, Reynolds Park.
Morningside
out that way.
down in that way.
Yeah.
Especially by the golf course.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you get right down in there, you'll be surprised at
Yeah.
what's down in there. You
Yeah,
know.
my aunt lives over there.
Okay, yes, sir. So
Yeah.
it's there.
But I think that's where now with the whole focus on anti-DI, anti-woke everything, which basically means anti-black. So,
That's all. That's all.
And what we can do is what me and my friends have been talking about. Like what can we do at this point?
Yeah.
Because I mean, America let me down.
Yeah.
I expected it. They did.
I think we all took that was a huge blow
Yeah.
to us. We really were vested in
Oh, yeah.
seeing Kamala win.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what it's like.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I told somebody, I was like, I don't know much about her story. At first I didn't. I knew she was a DA. But then when I started really like delving into her career, I was like,
Yeah.
she gonna win. She got this.
Because you think qualifications matter.
Yeah.
And
I
you
said,
thought
I
intellect
did.
mattered.
I did.
Yeah,
Her-
that's why you thought she was going
I did, man. I'm
Yeah.
be honest with you. Everything that she had done, I said she qualified for the job.
Yeah.
Now they got to just make sure the right pieces are around her so she can
Exactly.
be successful.
Well, and see, that's the bigger point for me. She was already talking about
Yes,
how she
man.
wanted to put the right people in the
Right,
right
and
place.
I knew she would have.
I think that was clear. I don't think
it was
anybody
very
can say that.
No, man.
Yeah.
She ain't no dummy.
Yeah.
Well,
and she was even willing to put a Republican in her cabinet. She
Come
was,
on,
She was
man.
actively seeking
Yes.
someone who didn't agree with her.
I mean, think about Obama. I remember when Obama, they didn't think he was going to choose Joe
Yeah.
to be his running mate because
Yeah.
he talked so much against
Yeah.
Barack's politics.
Yeah.
But what did he do? He turned around and said, hey, I'm going crazy Joe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly,
And it worked.
From a marketing standpoint, I think that was okay.
worked.
I'm gonna need these old white folks to vote for me
Thank you, man.
So come on,
Come
Joe.
on, Joe. Let's
Yeah.
go. So it was a smart move on his part.
because Hillary would have been good if she had like.
Oh,
but
man.
it was too contentious.
Yeah.
She was trying to hold on that nomination. It was too contentious.
Yeah.
He couldn't take her.
It was rough.
Yeah, and they wouldn't have won anyway because
Nah.
white people really don't like her for some.
No, they don't.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Yeah.
I don't know why either.
I think uneducated and or undereducated people started, and this is part of the whole Fox News thing. They started to attack credentials, like, oh, if they think they're smarter than you, oh, they're elite, oh, they're this and that.
Dude.
And the fact is, they are smarter than you. Like, there are people who are smarter than me. That doesn't mean you know everything.
No.
But there are people who are smarter than me because
Yes,
they spend
yeah.
more time in the subject.
Thank you, Jill.
And if you're not adult enough to say that,
Hey, something wrong with you.
I mean, it's really equivalent to like when you're a kid and you're like, my dad can beat up your dad. Like,
Right.
A, what does it matter?
It
But B,
doesn't,
you
yeah.
don't know that.
You don't know that.
C, you likely get your daddy ass whooped talking to the wrong.
Real quick.
Talking
right?
to the wrong
To
kid.
the wrong kid.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
So like
exactly.
that's how I see that. But to the other point, I think, I love analogies anyway.
Yeah.
So I think we were all hurt by that so much
Man.
because we keep learning lessons here
Yeah.
where if I can just be good enough, if I can just do the right things, good things will happen to me.
Sure.
And America will show you that's not the case.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, you feel like I could have done something better. But, like, this was one of those clear-cut examples of, I think of it like middle school. And my dad's first advice really about having a diverse friend group was, like, do it.
It's important.
Don't rule anybody out because of what you
important.
thought they were. Like, give them a chance.
Yeah.
But just understand there may come a time where there has to be a choice.
Yes.
And they might not choose
Yes.
you. So just basically
be
prepared.
okay with that. That's why I'm
case.
so glad that I went to the military, because it exposed me to so much.
Yeah. But that's what happened here.
But you're right, though. Yeah.
So that's what happened is we thought qualifications mattered. We finally got one.
Yeah.
I mean, because honestly, Hillary to me was one of the most qualified people to run.
Oh, yeah.
At that time.
I would have thought she would have won, actually.
Exactly. At that time. And then now you got someone who did even more than her.
Oh, man.
So.
And the support, the amount of support she got was almost.
With the push from black women right up front.
It was almost like Barack in his push, the amount of money she raised.
So if the people we think support us show up.
Yeah.
So if Joe's people show up.
Yeah.
She wins in a landslide.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by that I mean mostly white people.
Yeah.
But Joe's people, some black men, some of you Hispanic vote, like all the people who shifted. So
I think quite a few people shifted.
Oh yeah, well, or stayed home.
I agree.
So, but she's speaking to your interests.
Yeah.
She's doing what we said people need to do. She's winning what we said people need to win. She's up in some polls. She's winning some things so. All indicators say she should be winning.
Yeah.
We didn't believe in the system in the first place.
Nah.
But every time you get a chance to show me the system works,
we're gonna see what we're
like
gonna do. We're gonna exercise our rights,
That's why
then we're disappointed.
Much.
Yeah.
That's why I hurt so much.
I was telling somebody the other day, and I was very, very honest. I was like, I don't know much about Kamala and some of the things that she's done other than her pedigree. Basically her contributions to education. To the law, and things of that, like that right there. I was like, just that alone, and I also wanted to see her make history. If I'm being honest, that element was part of it too. I was like, black female, oh hell yes, I want to see her do it. I didn't think much about. I probably didn't agree with all of her politics, but at that point, it didn't matter to me. It was more or less, I want to see her do this.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be good for the culture. It's going to be good for our girls.
But don't we deserve it?
Yeah, I think we deserve it.
That's my thing.
Yeah, I think so.
With all the people to have been in any office.
Yeah, man.
Specifically that office. Like, you let George Bush get in there because his daddy was president.
Right.
We knew he'd done coke.
Yeah, man.
We knew he'd ruin business.
Oh, we knew he.
We knew he wasn't the brightest dude in general.
Oh God.
People knew that because remember, you just want to have a beer with him. He's not as smart as Al Gore, but Al Gore's an elitist nerd because blah blah blah. Yeah, because he read and he pissed off that he got to argue with this dude whose daddy put him up here.
I'm surprised Colin Powell didn't run.
Okay, so that was the other one from our conversation. Okay,
before. Go ahead. Yeah, I don't mean to cut
you
off.
No, you pivoted.
I did pivot, but it made me think about that because that whole cabinet.
Well, see, but my problem with him and Condoleezza.
Talk to him and Condoleezza, because I think Candy made mention to Condoleezza.
Did, and she was saying how great she was.
Yes,
and she was basically saying she was better than Kamala for running. Now I agree they're equivalent in as far as qualifications. They have a lifetime of service and education, things like that. My problem is, even more so than Obama pretended that, we can all get along and everybody, if Americans are just hopeful, not like that was a great motivational speech, but I didn't want him to believe it. Okay. And I think he believed it. Which is why, we lost some things, so we were believing in people's hope.
We did.
And at a certain point, you got to be asking for that hope. And we're encouraging it, but I'm not counting on you to show up. For Condoleezza and Colin Powell to leave that administration for the reasons they did. Yeah. Because that was not on great terms anyway. Yeah. I get that you don't immediately throw them under the bus. Yeah. But by the time Obama's going second term, you need to be talking more. just as black people with inside information.
Yeah.
Even if you don't do it publicly, you need to be talking to somebody.
Yes.
And then for Kamala, if I'm Condoleezza, I'm speaking up for her because you know who Trump is.
Yeah.
You know what the party that you were in 20 years ago is now. If you didn't know what it was then, you know what it is now.
You definitely know what it is now.
Where are you now?
Yeah, I agree.
Because I would not let someone talk about, if I'm a black woman, my black sister in those ways. Now, you can talk about, you know, the relationship with the superior.
Sure.
Fine.
I get what you're saying.
But the fact is, she was the younger one, and he preyed on her, which we've been talking about this for years now.
For years
and now you turn that. Okay, fine. You did the whole she locked up black people thing. Okay, but if she hadn't, you'd have said she was keeping criminals on the street.
Oh, absolutely.
So you can't have both.
Nah, you can't have both now.
She did the recidivism program.
Yes, sir.
Which was groundbreaking, and people are mimicking that all across the country. That's for us. She's talking about legalizing marijuana and giving justice to those people who are locked up on weed offenses.
That is for us.
It's mostly for us.
Mostly for us.
Yeah, because we've been unfairly punished for the same thing.
Absolutely.
So she spoke to the thing, and without tapping you on your damn forehead and saying, "This is for you," like I don't know what else she's supposed to say. So for Colin and Condoleezza, like to me, there's that group of black people who've achieved success and then try to stay out, and I get it because you know Jordan did that for years.
Oh yeah.
In the 80s and 90s. My opinion is that because he did that and just made the money and kept putting other people forward, that's why LeBron can say what he wants to say now.
And he definitely does.
And he does it more. He took that torch and is going further. And because he's doing it, now somebody else can do it.
Yeah.
You know, Chris Paul and all that group. So some of it can feed. So I don't know. Maybe they're doing that. We just don't know. Maybe Colin Powell and Condoleezza are doing that somewhere.
Maybe so.
And we just don't know.
We just don't know.
But I wanted to see it because I think that type of speaking up, you know, hey, I learned from my mistakes in 2001, 2, 3, and 4, and here's what I would do now. And this is why I think Kamala could do A, B, C, and D. That would have helped maybe sway those. It would at least take the white people who looked at them like, hey, these are the model African Americans, and let them know even they have problems with this. Because when you don't do that, how would they know that?
How would they know?
And if we don't do that, so that's why I don't discuss politics thing.
I understand.
Because if I don't tell my white friend who considers me a friend that I have a problem with this, how would he know?
How would he know? You got to tell him. Right.
How would he? So he's out telling somebody else that he's got black friends, first of all.
Of course.
And he means me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I let him say this, and he says that around me. But, well, no, we can't do that. So when I hear it, we got to address that. I try not
see what you're saying. Yeah.
Take it to people.
I'm with you.
But if we're going to hang around, if you're going to be on the Facebook feed, if you're going to do like you're going to hear some shit, and you need to ask me about it or something.
Damn right.
Because just because I don't say nothing to you don't mean I don't see it.
Damn right. Now
you tell the truth about that.
Something. Oh, damn right. Damn right.
And that's, so as we learn, we got to pass some of that information on.
Yeah. Because
some people, one of my good friends from high school, thought we were good friends, we kind of stopped talking to him the first Trump time because he was just talking crazy online. Right. I was like, what the fuck did this come from?
Yeah, like, nigga, what you talking about?
Yeah. And so I commented on his feed and he was like, all in left field, like no valuable. So I dropped it. Ain't say nothing about during Trump. He's riding with a black friend from work who has dreads.
Okay, gotcha.
And I think they rode home together multiple nights or something because more than once they got stopped. And one of the times they got the dude out, got his hand in the car. And so he's witnessing this dude be the suspect multiple times, mainly because he's riding in dreads.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So he messaged me and was like, yo, man, like, I apologize. Like, I didn't get it.
And you get it now.
Exactly. It's like, I see it. And so that's what I keep telling people. Until it touches some people, they cannot see it. So if you can touch them, touch them.
Yes, yes.
I tell them about my uncle.
Yes,
oh, they made him get on the ground.
Yeah, man.
But they don't do that unless no. A lot of us have sat on the curb.
Oh, yes, sir.
While they figure it out.
Oh, I done been on the curb.
I don't know nobody been on the curb. That was one of my biggest fears. Like, I don't wear nicer clothes in places I think cops might stop me just in case I had to get on the ground.
I done been on the curb. I done been on the curb in my BDUs.
Yeah.
In Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Believe you me.
Out there in Kentucky.
Yes, sir.
It's states I still won't stop and get gas.
So trust me, bro. It's real.
But that's to me, as we talk about how politically speaking, to make
Yeah.
change,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it ain't political. A lot of
Nah.
it is communication.
Absolutely, man.
And letting people know what you do and don't stand for,
Yeah.
what is and is not important to you.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
some of the stuff you pick up. Like somebody say, man, vaccines, that's just the government trying to do whatever.
Okay, man.
I mean, now look, you might be right.
You might be right.
I'm not saying you're wrong,
not at all.
but I'm also saying millions of children have been saved. So like we can't
Millions.
just throw the baby out the
Yes,
bathwater.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So like that, but that's the conversation to have because maybe they got some information you don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
like I got an uncle worked at the CDC in Atlanta.
Gotcha.
We never talked about that.
But just maybe.
Exactly. He's passed now, but if he was alive,
Yeah.
I would have went to him first. What's going on?
Yeah. Like, what's up with this?
I heard this COVID thing, and they say it's not in America yet. What's going on?
Well, good.
But that's what we have to do and use those resources, and then show up to the city council meeting, show
Yeah.
up to the town hall meeting,
Yes,
show up
sir.
to your HOA meeting,
Yes,
show up
man.
to Congressional Black Caucus in
Yes,
DC.
yes.
I think I told you I was going.
Yeah, you did. You did.
So
yeah.
I stopped by a couple of the meetings this time.
Yeah.
I'm going to register and go to more next time. Like there's so much information about real estate,
Yeah.
how we can keep communities black that
Yes.
we're worried about gentrification.
Yes.
You got to show up to the meeting to figure out how you can buy that building before
Come on, man. Come
someone
on.
else sells it.
Yes. Yes.
to learn about the tax implications.
Yes.
Like
yes.
how can you get your group of friends together and what are
Yeah.
the best ways to like all that stuff is
All
there,
that
man.
stuff, man, is there. You're absolutely
And
right.
when you get that kind of money,
Oh, yes, sir.
then you can write a check in for that
Come
campaign
on,
fund and
man.
say, now when you do that,
Remember.
hey, make sure
Make
Ross Cloud is in that building. I need it rezoned.
I need to
Don't come here renovating. Like
Please
this,
don't.
this is what we do. Or
is-
like I want this building close to A&T or whatever other thing you need. That money is going to talk.
That's right, man. And you got to get to the meetings.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Or send somebody.
Or
I mean,
send somebody and take some notes.
Yeah, who is
know
going?
somebody, know somebody.
You got to pass that on.
You got to pass it on.
Because if we don't do that, we end up in the same place every time.
Yeah.
Where you're surprised at the outcome.
Yeah.
And the people who had been, because a lot of this stuff is 20 years old.
Absolutely.
Like Project 2025 didn't start getting written
Oh,
this year.
no.
That plan has been several think tanks
Years.
and Republican and conservative groups
Years.
since I think one number I saw says since Reagan and Nixon.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's like as far as how they use, poor whites
Oh, yeah.
to vote against their own interest, stuff like that. Like a lot
Absolutely.
of that stuff has been enacted since the 70s.
That's right.
And including COINTELPRO and all the drugs, all that stuff goes together. So we're behind.
Way behind.
You're not gonna fix it today.
No.
But if it's ever gonna get fixed, best time to start was yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Second best time is today.
Yes, sir. There it is.
Yeah.
Jeff, thank you so much, man. This has been awesome. I actually learned a lot. I took some notes while you were talking too, so I can go back and do my own research and
Yeah.
kind of look up some of those things, man.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to do this again, man. We're gonna
Yeah.
keep this up, man. Anything that is pressing, anything that kind of gets your attention, man. And you know what it is, man. Just shoot me a DM, shoot me a text. Yo, Ross,
We'll
look
talk
at
about
this.
it. Yeah.
We gonna talk about it, and I'm gonna bring you on again, man. I thank you again, Jeff, for gracing us, man, with your presence, man, and bringing us, your opinion and your expertise on politics. Listen, man, can you tell the folks how they can reach you and how they can get in contact with you, man, before we close out, bro?
Best way is still on IG at HenPhoto, HenFoto. That's more my photography and creative work.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's probably easiest. Or jhenighan at me.com. JHENIGHAN at me.com.
I love it. Come on, man. Let's get this man a job on CNN. Or, well, I don't know if he want to go to Fox, but let's get him a job at CNN.
Tell Roland Martin I said what's up.
Yeah.
Holla at your boy.
Yeah, get him a job over there with Roland, man, so we can get this brother out because somebody needs to hear more of what he has to say. Listen, I hope you guys have heard something that can help you become a better you. Listen, this is the Ross Cloud Podcast. I'm Chris Ross. Make it a great day and keep being great. Peace.
Today's episode of the Ross Cloud Podcast is sponsored in part by GospelStationCharts.com, where you can view gospel radio station song charts and track the promotion of your song, such as view how many stations are playing your song and how often, including what day and time your song played. Check it out now. Visit GospelStationCharts.com.